How are you all doing? Welcome back to Crypto Blitz, where you can get all of your cryptocurrency needs met. I'm Ruppel Van Winkle, your host. I hope that today is fantastic for everyone. The date is March 7, Friday. The weekend has arrived, baby, and it's payday Friday. Last night, we received some very important news. A small glimpse of the events that will take place in the White House today. Regulators have resisted cryptocurrency for years and imposed stringent regulations, particularly the SEC. Could they, however, be getting ready for a future supported by digital assets behind closed doors? If accurate, this might account for the ongoing struggle for control over blockchain innovation, recent regulatory actions, and central bank conversations about digital currencies. We're having a breakdown this morning. What happened last night, and why is it all important? What possible effects might this have on stable coins, Bitcoin, and XRP, as well as the possible function of digital assets in the global financial system? This is among the largest cryptocurrency. I've done YouTube morning shows, and the implementation is fantastic. Watch as we break down all of these elements and discuss how they affect your cryptocurrency investment. Without further ado, let's get started because we have a lot covering. With Ethereum trading at 2,193, Bitcoin is currently down 2.55% over the last day at 89,015 miles. Right now, it's down 4.5%. The price of XRP is a mean, lean 2,052 cents, with both stable coins, USDT and USDC, trading at 99 cents. It has dropped 3.51%. 2,893 billion is the total market value of cryptocurrencies. Now, another day has brought another signal to the free Telegram group. The URL is below. Here, we are withdrawing a small portion of our ETH long position. I received the 2,159 entry this morning. The 6 TIG profit levels are visible. Every morning at 5 or 6 in the morning, we will have the stop loss. We receive the latest Telegram signals. It is completely free. It's free even if you choose not to take part. Come see what we're doing and have a look. In fact, I'm going to start looking for everything, posting these results on an Excel spreadsheet. If you're not a fan of Telegram, that's okay too. I'll create a Patreon group for this as well. For $5 a month, you get everything on Patreon. If you're not comfortable using Telegram, it's that easy. This is the official list for today. Be mindful, Brad Garlinghouse, Michael Saylor, Matt Young, David Bailey, Exodus author JP Richardson is fascinating. Arjun Sith of Kraken, Chris Maslow, CEO of Crypto. Calm, Brian Armstrong, Vlad Tennant from Robinhood, Kyle Samurai, Zach Wickoff, Sergey from Chainlink, and Chris Maslow. It's curious that Gemini isn't on this list. Perhaps we're missing a page, but I'm not sure. Coinbase and Crypto.com are there, though. Think it's very fascinating. The gathering at the White House today is going to be really intriguing. Here's the fact sheet and the news that was released yesterday. I want to dig right in and break things down. Twitter is currently experiencing a wide range of conflicting feelings. Do I know the answers to all of this? I don't. I'll share with you what I learned from this. Last night, I spent about 2 hours staring at this after returning from my softball game. I was standing in the kitchen going over this and looking up historical precedents to see how this could all relate and what it may actually mean. People are either bullish or bearish, and we recently learned that the government is not truly purchasing cryptocurrency. Although they won't be purchasing altcoins, they will be searching for impartial methods to increase their Bitcoin holdings. There's a lot of cooking going on here, and many people are stating that Ripple is handing over the escrow to the US government, which is obviously a non-issue. How come Ripple would lose all that money? B. The price of anything is never increased when something is given away for free. The purchase of cryptocurrency was the main news catalyst we hope to emerge from this. Since they would undoubtedly want to see the value of that asset increase if they spent money, we encourage them to do so. Even if the value drops to a penny, they still made money if they are simply holding it and received it for free. Do you understand what I'm saying? However, we will go right in. Let's go to the White House website and access the fact sheet. It states that President Donald Trump issued an executive order today to create a strategic Bitcoin reserve in a U.S. digital asset stockpile, establishing the United States as a leader among governments and nations in terms of digital ease and tactics. This is a very bullish beginning line. Trump is acting on his statements. He declared that he would prioritize the United States. He said he was going to establish a U.S. digital asset stockpile and issue an executive order on a strategic Bitcoin reserve, which is somewhat different from a reserve. That's all right, we'll dissect these two, but he is acting on his presidential campaign promises, which many questioned and claimed he would never carry out. You go now. You completed it around 6 weeks into his presidency. Claims that the order treats Bitcoin as a reserve asset and establishes a strategic reserve. The Department of Treasury's Bitcoin that was seized as part of criminal or civil asset forfeiture actions will be used to fund the strategic Bitcoin reserve. Other authorities will assess whether they have the legal right to move any Bitcoin they control to the reserve. This means that any assets that have been frozen or forfeited due to unlawful activity are being acquired by the U.S. government, which then receives them. That's all. It goes on to say that Bitcoin deposited into the strategic Bitcoin reserve, which will be kept as a store of reserve assets, will not be sold by the U.S. They will not sell their Bitcoin, which is something you should consider today. As you are aware, people are always very careful with their words, and I'm sure the White House is no exception. In other words, they will not harm the American people by dumping their Bitcoin on the markets. However, there's no indication of trade in this. In the past, for instance, the United States has exchanged oil for something else. Therefore, this isn't mentioned, or perhaps we simply need more information. Will people exchange Bitcoin for anything else in another nation? If that is the case, it is not bullish since other nations may dump large quantities of Bitcoin on the market if they traded the free Bitcoin they received in order to get anything back. Therefore, we must exercise caution when interpreting this. Additionally, it declares that the Secretary of Treasury and Commerce may create budget-neutral plans for obtaining more Bitcoin, so long as those plans don't result in new expenses for American taxpayers. Folks, this is Bitcoin exclusively now. This isn't about altcoins. It states that they will seek for cost-effective ways to purchase additional Bitcoin. A budget-neutral strategy, what is it? I'm aware that you will ask me that question, and I have the response. Therefore, public-private partnerships would be a budget-neutral approach. The Department of Commerce, for instance, in exchange for specific regulatory advantages or tax breaks that do not result in a net tax loss, they can encourage private organizations to donate Bitcoin to a national reserve fund. What about a federal land mining incentive? In exchange for a certain portion of the Bitcoin mine that would go into the treasury here, the government may lease federal land or excess energy resources to these mining businesses. We can discuss the allocation of seasons. Bitcoin is regularly seized by the government due to illegal activity. The dark web is the ideal illustration. The treasury might keep those rather than auctioning them off on fiat. When they auction them off, you often get a fairly good deal, so that's positive right there. It's good because the individuals